Hey everyone, welcome back. Here we are looking at my friend Ben Grimm, the Thing. Oops, that's the wrong thing. We're talking about this one over here. There he is. There's old Ben. Where we are now is we've given him 2 coats of Future, and I know it's hard to see with these lights. They don't really show it very well, but he's highly glossed. He's all greased up. I mean, we're talking WWE glossed and greased up. He's ready to go a couple rounds in the ring, cage match style. But that's not very realistic like this. We need to put some wash on him, okay? Now, there's all different ways to do it, and this is what I'm going to attempt. Note to self for you guys: if you build models and you're at the stage where you pretty much just build out of the box, you build everything nice and clean and you put it out there, you're going to get to a point eventually probably where you decide you want to make them look, I hate to say it like this, I don't mean it derogatory in any way, but you might want to try to make it look more realistic by adding some wear and weather to it. And one of the ways to do that, there's many ways. There's pastels and stuff like that. And I do pastels too. But one of the other ways, one of the first ways I tried weathering was with oil paints. And here's what I have to basically say about oil paints. Here's the deal. Let me readjust the camera here for a minute. When I got to the point of where I felt I was ready to weather, I went out, I watched some videos, and I learned a little bit about oil paints. And what I did is I went out and I bought all these paints. Now, some oil paints can be very expensive, some can be very inexpensive. For what we do, I would say, you know, you go on a cheap side, and a tube like this, which is 37 milliliters, these things cost a couple bucks. I mean, they can go way up to like $4 or $5 also, and if you want to pay that, you can, but for what most of us do, you're not going to need to. So when I went out and bought these, I went and I got what I saw online as to be the base colors that you want to use that covers a lot of what we do. So for example, we got ivory black, I got a green, titanium white, I got some peach or light flesh, I got some yellow ochre, some zinc white, burnt umber, and over here we got ourselves some blue. We got blue, okay? And with these you could do quite a bit of weathering on all different colors. Sure, there's more you can get, but this is the base of what I got. And for a couple bucks, you know, let's say $2, whatever this was, I can't remember off the top of my head, but this tube probably gonna last me forever. It really will, because you only use a little bit. So if you're thinking of getting into weathering, check out some videos. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to demonstrate it here with you guys too. But you can get yourself a nice palette of weathering material right here, make all kinds of washes for a very inexpensive cost. And they don't take up a lot of room either. I mean, I keep them in a drawer, and they've been sitting there for quite a long time, but they're still very pliable. So let me reposition this, and we're going to get together and we're going to start making a wash for old Ben over here. Okay? Be right back. Alright. Now, the reason why we make washes is to basically to outline and highlight different areas, of our model. Okay? Bring things to life, shade them, make them stand out more, or actually less, but it brings out and it makes the model pop. Now, as you can see here with old Ben, he is just full of all kinds of detail that can be made to pop. Now, one of the things that I like to do before I apply a wash is just what I did before, what I told you guys I was doing, and that was I give him a nice shiny gloss coat. Alright, in this case I gave him 2 gloss coats. I let it dry for a couple days and basically cure and really dry out. Okay, because you got to remember, you want your figure to be you know, properly dried, because the materials that we're going to be using in here do have a tendency to eat through gloss colors and paints and such. So you got to be careful. And if, you know, so like I said, you want it to be nice and dry, and we're not going to submerge this because otherwise we'd have a problem. So he's properly glossed. Now the next thing is we're going to make our wash. And in this case, in the case of the thing, we got to figure out what colors are going to accent him best. Okay, I think a lot of people would of course go with the tried old true black, but being orange and some black, if it's too stark, he's going to look like a pumpkin. So I don't want the highlights to be that in your face. So I've decided to go with a burnt umber. Okay, and that's what I'm going to try to do. Make it, I mean, I want it to be pronounced, but I don't want it to be too pronounced. It's a balancing act, and it's one that I can't really tell you how to do. You have to kind of play with it and figure it out yourself. So we got our oil paint. We got a cup to mix it in, and what I like to use is mineral spirits. Okay, I just got this cheap at Hobby Lobby. It was 12 bucks, 40% discount, brought it down to like $7 and change. So that's good, and this will last me for quite some time. So what you're going to do, and again, it's trial and error, it's playing with this until you get it right. Okay, and one of the things about putting on a gloss coat first, if you make a mistake, you could wipe it off and start all over again. Okay, so I put a little bit of mineral spirits in the cup. Adjust this a little bit better. Okay, so we got that going. Now we take our paints, and you know, this stuff comes out kind of like toothpaste in a way. So what I'm going to do, sorry about that. Let's see. So I'm going to take some out. Alright. And we're going to put it in our mix. And like I said, it's hard to tell you how much you're going to use for your wash. It just depends. Okay? So, and of course, adding a little bit at a time is better, because, well, you know, you can't take it away. Once you add it, you're stuck. Okay, and you don't want to make, you know, half this cup for something like his size. You're gonna be throwing a lot of it away. So, all right. So, the other thing about having the gloss coat on him first is that it allows your wash to flow easily through the recesses. Okay, and allows it to make it apply a lot easier. And there's two ways of applying your wash. Okay, and again, it depends on what effect you're trying to achieve. I haven't really used the wash since I was working on airplanes, and when I was doing that, I've used both of these methods. One is taking a very fine brush and taking your subject. You take a little bit of your wash, and basically you trace in between all the lines. Okay, it's a little tedious, but depending on the effect you want, that could work. When I was doing aircraft, I would do it on the panel line, sometimes flaps, depending on how I wanted the plane to look. Another way to do it is not the gentle Fabergé egg way. It's the bull in a china shop way, and that's taking a big old brush, taking your wash and just painting over the whole thing. That's the way I want to work with the thing, because what I'm hoping to do with my wash, not only do I want to fill these recessed panel lines, but there's other textures in here that I want to stand out, and it'll also help dull him down a bit. I mean, he's going to get a dull coat in the end anyway, but I just think it tones him down and since it's got a very rough texture, it's going to hide in the recesses that I would probably miss if I was using the soft Fabergé egg delicate way. So let's adjust this a little bit here. Sorry. I wish I had music to play for you. Na 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 na. Little intro music, you know. So we got our wash. Mix it up a little bit better. Okay. And the nice thing also about the bigger brush is it really holds a lot of material in it. Now what I can do to see if this is the right consistency I want, take a spot that's a little less noticeable, and we just start painting. And you can see the way it fills in the recesses. Okay. Now, that's going to make it look really good. The problem is, just so you know, if you did any seam work and you didn't quite get it, this stuff is going to make it stand out, just so you know. So, we're just going to go through, and we're going to, sorry Ben, getting a little private, turn your head and cough. Okay, we're just going to coat over everything. Alright, and like I said, it's a lot of like I said tonight. If I didn't like something, just take the rag, some mineral spirits on it, and I could wipe it right off. Now right now, if I wipe too much, I just clean it, and that's not what I want. So, but you can just, it'll end up washing right off. Okay, so we're just gonna get going there. Now I purposely didn't do his shorts yet because I don't want them dulled down. I like the look that I've seen where Ben is a little weathered, so to speak, but his shorts kind of stand out. They're nice and clean. But they'll get dulled down with the final coat of flat, but I just want them to stand out a little bit, you know. And again, it's personal preference, whatever you want. Okay. Get in all those recesses, all those shady dark areas, his pits, in some cases his crotch area in here. Again, you know. And it can be messy, that's for sure. Does get messy. All right. I think I got just about everything. So now Ben is also a little weird because, I mean, the way his stance, there's no flat way to just like leave him, to put him anywhere. So I'm going to put him on the base because I haven't done anything to the base yet. Just let him stand on his own. Okay, and let that start to dry. Okay, like I said, so you can see how he's filled in. Now, when I'm done, if it's not filled in the way I want, we can always make it again and do some more. You know, you're not stuck with the way it is. I mean, just take some clean mineral spirits, a rag, and you can wipe it off and start all over again. It's the paints and this is very forgiving. That's what I'm trying to say. Very, very forgiving. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so here's where the fun starts now. Ben's been sitting for about 20 minutes or so. Now I'm going to take, you can use a couple different things. Q-tips, cotton buds, or actually that's what that is, or cotton balls, or a towel. I'm using a paper towel at this point, and he's still a little damp, so I don't need to put anything on. If you wait too long, or not too long, but if you wait long enough, which could be better sometimes, you might want to put a little bit of mineral spirits, just enough to dampen this, just a little bit, and then you can wipe it off. But the problem is you got to be careful. When, again, I'll go back to an aircraft again. When doing panel lines, what you're going to do is, let's just make believe this is our panel line. You're going to take your cloth and you're going to wipe across the panel line. And what's going to do is it's going to allow everything to stay in that grade. Okay? If you go with the line, you're basically going to wipe it off. Now Ben goes all different ways, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. So again, I'm going to go dry, I'm going to go really light. I'm just going to try to go all different ways and lightly take off the excess on the raised parts of his rock-like muscles. Okay. Oops. Now, if you take too much off, you can always go back later and reapply your wash. Wait the time, and then away you go. But you can start to see, hold on a second. You can start to see now how the wash is toned down and filled in the gaps on his arm there. And again, if it's too heavy in a spot, you can go about it again. You can get yourself a one of these Q-tips, work it a little bit, lighten it up, and move on. So let me work on him some more and I'll be right back.